Yo, if you're down in those Kaspa trenches, you have to understand why you're down there, okay? So in my last video, I was covering the price action and where it's possibly headed, and it's playing out pretty clearly. We did see some crazy pumps even with Ethereum, but those pumps, it's from retail speculation is what I'm thinking. Whether retail or not, but there's massive moves, massive speculative moves. Here's a very interesting post. Willy Woo. This guy's actually a very good Bitcoin analyst, someone I really do respect. So look at first with Kaspa, okay? So Kaspa is experiencing a downtrend, and sorry for my previous video quality wasn't good. I messed up a little bit. Again, we're experiencing this macro downtrend, and this is a retest of macro support. So we see this. This is the bottom of the bottom of the bear market, and now this is the breakout, the massive breakout. And we're going to now have to retest. This is healthy, and this is to be expected. I mean, look at this. This is in 2 months, it saw this ridiculous growth of basically double from the bottom to the top. And what's going to happen from here? Well, indicators are pointing to it needs to retest. That's most likely what's going to happen. And we check with Bitcoin. Here, Willy Woo is saying the risk signal trends downward, which is good. However, the strength of this bullish run is starting to break down. It's starting to show a top formation, and I have to agree. What's this? This is something very interesting. So the SOPR represents the people that are like potential profit. People that are in profit who are likely to take profit. Because if a lot of people are in profit, they're going to take profit. That's just how it goes in crypto. Now, this is a speculation model. A lot of people are speculating the price is going to go higher. This you see with futures. This is what you see with leverage trading. So the latecomer speculators taking long positions. And just like yesterday or last night, I saw someone open or have some sort of ridiculous, and I mean ridiculous position. 40x Bitcoin at this price, at this time, is just stupidity. He's just a degen gambler, so he got liquidated 100%. If he says he hasn't, then I don't know what he's really doing here. You don't 40x Bitcoin. I mean, look at this. It's just stupid. I mean, the funding fee alone is $500,000. Like, what the heck, man? 40x long, and the liquidation, here we go. It's like, man, you don't play those type of games when you see Bitcoin starting to peak, especially right now. Look at this. Okay, so we have the daily chart on Bitcoin. It's no longer keeping this really high uptrend. It's literally starting to peak, and you can see that not just here on its moving average, but on its macro indicators. This is the deep moving averages, and they're starting to create a top formation. We check on the weekly as well, and it's the same deal. I mean, it's at the top of its Bollinger. And here again, we see a little bit of a peaking formation. It has room to drop down to here. It has room to retest 100K. So once it retests 100K, I mean, you do want to do that 40x long on Bitcoin. Do it where it hits the bottom of the Bollinger down here, bottom of the bottom of the bear market, like down here. But when you do it at the peak, you're just like, it's stupidity. That's what it comes down to. But hey, everyone has their inner degen. Where do I think Kaspa's headed from here? I definitely think it can retest this 8.5 cent range. It could go a little lower. It's going to have to depend on its macro indicators. It absolutely could as well retest the bottom of its Bollinger. Look at this. So here's the double bottom formation, but it could also have a macro double bottom, or even they want to call it a triple bottom. That's not out of the cards for Kaspa. We check on the weekly chart for Kaspa, and here we go. It's going to be this mid-weekly average, moving average, is going to be needs to flatline some more. So it's going to find it as support most likely. Otherwise, it's going to have to come down to the low Bollinger. Again, it peaked a little bit at the top Bollinger, and now it's going to need to hover around the bottom or the mid. We want it to hold the mid. That's going to be great if it could hold this level. But nothing is certain. Its weekly shows signs of a topping formation. You have to weather it down, basically. Okay, if you have some extra cash, definitely keep an eye out for a buying opportunity when indicators are showing a bottoming formation. Feel free to join my Patreon. I'm gonna give those calls and shout outs for when's a good buying opportunity, or at least another opportunity to dollar cost average. Just doing that randomly, sure, it's great, but having like a perfectly timed opportunity, that's optimal. Because I'm getting, comments on my YouTube like, dang, dude, I hold 1 million Kaspa and it's been down for like, past a year and this is horrible price action. But when you're down in the trenches, you have to understand why you're down here. You're down here because this is the technology that's going to surpass and it's going to take crypto to mainstream adoption. So this is not a get rich quick scheme. It's not that at all. You have to be in it for the long term because there's a lot of people, a lot of OGs that hold Kaspa and are looking for the quick rich. So if they don't get rich quick, they're going to be dumping. And only so few people can be able to have max profit, because otherwise, if so many people are in profit, they're going to be taking profit, and that's going to keep the price down. So in order to see ridiculous profit, a lot of people have to sell their bags. So we need to see a lot of people lose their conviction in the best crypto asset and the best technology of the last decade. AI aside, AI is going to be using this as the infrastructure. So now let's look into some interesting bookmarks. So there's been talk about, what's up with the Kaspa account? No one's been uploading or publishing to the Kaspa account. Should you be concerned about it? No. So there's internal discussion ongoing, and it's going to be coming to a close about on June 7th about what's going to be the new direction and what's going to be the new takeover for this account. So there's some people, they call them like elected government for this account. I mean, Shai was going into a lot of critiques about it, and it's honestly kind of ridiculous. Like, you don't need to make such a bureaucracy over just an X account. It has a lot of followers, it has incredible outreach. Just continue posting to it. Have some OG community members, people that know what they're doing, people that can write a nice message, give them access, delegate access to them, see how they do, and just make it really decentralized, okay? So if that's going to be how's it going to move forward, then I'm all for it. But if it's going to continue to be like a bottleneck for just posting out simple tweets or something like that, or retweets, this is not what we need. But here's Shai goes into, his opinion. He thinks it's just absolutely kind of like absurd. He doesn't want to have any part of it. It's basically these people are forming like a little committee or the government of Kaspa currency for this account. And they're just trying to have nice little guidelines or some sort, if it's like a government thing, committee, it's going to take time to make things move forward. That's just how every single government, acts. Whatever floats their boat, in my opinion. Like, if that's what it takes to get smooth sailing, then just let's get it done. But it doesn't need to take so much time. Here's Christian Ludwig saying about time frame even. The June 7th is Howard's new goal to complete this X-handle government. So there we go, June 7th. That's the only mention of a time frame that we have. There we go. Like, it's pretty, it is what it is. Basically, was what my feeling on it. So this is also another interesting topic. So change finance, finance.change, or whatever the heck you want to call it. These guys rugged Kaspa hard, real hard. And more than like anyone could have imagined. So we knew they were scammy. We knew they had a bridge, okay? And they're working on a different blockchain called Fusion. This wasn't even Kaspa's blockchain. So there's a centralized risks all over this place. And they were having problems with their bridge. And, well, at the end of the day, they just scammed Kaspa. They rugged. And they took not just a lot, they took 332 million Kaspa. So could that explain the sell pressure that Kaspa has been seeing for the past, ever since KRC20 released? Yeah, it really much could. Add that with Marathon's 100 million Kaspa that they've mined and they've sold. Align that with a lot of people with KRC20, even the projects selling Kaspa for USDT to pay for listings, things like that. Even miners getting much higher rewards during this period. That's a lot of sell pressure. I mean, I think Change Finance is at the top of that selling pressure. Those entities that just have those massive sell walls, it just makes no sense. Or where you get all that Kaspa? Well, here we go. They just stole it all. 332 million. That's a lot. So this is extremely bullish that Kaspa is still held up this price thus far. This is bullish. That's incredible. And moving forward, we're not going to be seeing this type of massive sell pressure, even with mining rewards. I mean, Kaspa is already 91.4%. I mean, last time I checked it, it was like at 91%. This thing is moving fast. So with smart contracts coming real soon, it's in testnet, dev testnet, and it's coming to public testnet in like a matter of days. This is Kasplex, zero knowledge proof EVM, this is going to bring rewards a lot more transaction activity, a lot more volume to Kaspa. So this is going to be powering the miners, especially with the development of more layer 2s coming out. A lot more, that EVM compatibility is just perfect for bringing initial adoption. So here we go, Zach XBT, this famous, basically a crypto investigator. He's talking about he's not interested in, shout out to Flux again. He's doing the work out there. You got his attention, and Zach is basically saying he's not interested because Kaspa doesn't have the tools necessary to do this type of investigation. It doesn't have chain analysis, Etherscan, these TRM, Arkham, and that's true. Kaspa doesn't have anything. Doesn't have anything. That just shows how early we are. Once Kaspa has these institutional grade investment tools, that's going to really power adoption. So you just have to understand how early we are. Once institutions start looking at Kaspa, and once a lot of big money, starts looking at Kaspa, we already have big money looking at it. You look at wallet number 2, stuff like that. These top wallets accumulating Kaspa, and they're going to be making changes that are the best for Kaspa. They're going to be helping onboarding these tools in order to help adoption. Yeah, you just have to understand this is the long game. Kaspa is organic. It doesn't have these pre-allocations for paying for such things. It doesn't have these team wallets and marketing funds to pay for such things. This is all organic, grass-fed community, down in the trenches. This is what Kaspa is all about. Speaking of shady actors from Change Finance, now there's GroveX, okay? So just be real careful, please, with GroveX. I had a very bad experience on that exchange a while back. So I had to so you don't have the KYC on this thing, but I had a KYC. It wasn't good, okay? So I did use a VPN to access the exchange, but like most other exchanges, when you have to use a VPN, it's going to be shady. That's the bottom line. And they were not letting me withdraw. I was able to make trades extremely easily. They had incredible liquidity, but it looks like their order books aren't real. It seems like they're just showing the numbers, but not actually doing. Do they actually have the funds to cover such orders? I don't know. It's just a real shady exchange. You look them up, Trustpilot, okay? And they got a lot of 5-star ratings. Honestly, bots. Honestly, this is the team reviewing it for themselves. Look at the 1-star, and there's a lot of 1-star ratings. Look at this stuff from March, April. If you want to trade, you cannot withdraw. Look at this. I had the same problem. I couldn't withdraw. I literally had to get in communication with the CEO of GroveX in order for him to manually let me withdraw money. It's a scam. Beware, run by scammers. They hold your funds, which is why they have a manual withdrawal. Look, it's not just me. Other people experience the same thing. Now, this is shady as heck. So once you see, they're now trying to target the Kaspa community, just like Change Finance did. So you have to be extremely careful. I'm going to be mentioning this in more videos because people need to be aware that it's not, it doesn't look good. And even recently, they were GroveX was just manipulating their orders to show they had a ton of the most volume on Kango recently. They as if they had so much volume, as if this was the hot spot to buy Kango, and no one was buying Kango from this place. So obviously it was not real, the volume. So apparently the GroveX was running their own market maker for Kango, and they were inflating the numbers just to make it look like this is the hot spot to buy it. So fortunately, Rawl reached out to them and got that to end. So, but just take a look out for it, because I see more KRC20s are listing on here, and it's you have to be very, very careful because this place is run like a scam. And now look at this. Who knows if this engagement is real or not? But trying to target for the Kaspa community, and I don't like it. And also, it's not $sign Kaspa, it's $sign Kas. So there you go. That's proof they are not a Caspian. Get them out of here. Again, we're going to look at shady exchanges. Look at MEXC, the one and only, the legendary, infamous MEXC. Okay, it's not just for Caspians, but it's look at this. This guy, he's not a Caspian. He's a Bitcoin person. Okay, and he had problems. They froze their account. What the heck, man? Froze the account. He had to, give all these proof that it's his account, but still they do nothing. They wait and wait and wait, and had to withdraw 200K in one go. He hasn't had a problem, but it's like the thing about these exchanges is that they target some people. They don't target everyone, but these exchanges target some people, and that's how they just steal funds. So then they have some people that come out on X like this, but then your own experience is like, oh, I had never had problems with MEXC, or I never had problems with GroveX. So then you continue doing that. So like, imagine, 70% or 90% of the people don't have problems, but then 10% do. Imagine that 10% of the funds on the exchange get stolen. That's messed up. Even Saylor, Saylor doing some shady stuff. Michael Saylor, with his micro strategy would just, did I say Michael or Micro Saylor? Okay, well, Michael Saylor with his micro strategy company, they hold Bitcoin, but he doesn't want to reveal the addresses, basically the proof of reserves. Michael Saylor doesn't want to show that for Bitcoin. Like, what the heck? So Arkham went ahead and tried to do it for them, but still they only could find 87.5% of the total MSTR holdings. So like, proof of reserve is not there, not even for MicroStrategy. So the reasons for that, it's just so people can't track their addresses. Like, this is crypto. That's what it's supposed to be. Open public blockchain. Sure, if you want to remain anonymous, but like, the end of the day, you're holding people's money. You should be showing proof that you actually hold their money, or else you just become a bank. And that's not cool. So, centralized entities are trying to like creep their way into crypto, and we all know how that ends up. That's how banks have just created digital cash. They're the first ones to create digital cash. And out of thin air, you give them $100, and then they keep $3 in their bank, and then they loan out $97. And then that bank gives it to someone else, and then the same, it just repeats and repeats and repeats. And then you just have digital cash, magical money. Now that's messed up. Okay, that's the first digital cash. It's not like Bitcoin. Bitcoin wasn't the first. It was these banks creating money out of thin air. So that's where Bitcoin and crypto came. Kaspa Key also given some nice resources about what's the potential use case for Kaspa in the telecom sector. Now this is awesome. Like, bandwidth trading markets. It's not just energy trading markets, which is what Kaspa Key is currently building. They're even building their own layer 2 to facilitate the trading of energy. They're also, telecom has infrastructure sharing, dynamic spectrum allocation, zero knowledge KYC, edge computing. So there's so much actual utility going forward in real industries for Kaspa, not just in existing crypto technology, but in the real world. ZX will be their energy exchange, a decentralized tokenized energy assets where you basically trade like a decentralized exchange for green energy, e-fuels. So instead of like trading, Kaspa and Memecoins and stuff like that, you're trading actual energy, but these are like zero emission credits. This is incredible because in the current real world, everything has a cost. Everything can't be moved in microtransactions, but now Kaspa allows these microtransactions to enable such a market to exist. Transparent, liquid, accessible market. And it's not just that, it doesn't end there. They have a lot of projects. So of course it's going to take them time to actually get all of them out there, but it seems like this one already had some nice teasers about what it looks like, and they're using their layer 2 to facilitate this exchange. Look, here's a little sneak peek of their ZX, Clean Energy Trading Exchange, decentralized, by the way. Look at this. You got some pairing UAE with, I don't know what any of these tickers stand for, but it's all energy type stuff. So this trading is happening on the infrastructure, on the rails of Kaspa itself. We're going to be seeing this happen much more. This type of adoption for you don't see Kaspa in the trading pair. You see it's the infrastructure, it's the data network infrastructure for this exchange. We're going to be seeing this, and that's how Kaspa is going to be integrating itself in existing technology and future technology to come. Because it is the data network. It's not just a currency, but it is a data network. This guy though, man, people just they don't have the conviction they need to hold and invest in such a currency, in such a technology. These people, they don't see the bigger picture. I don't know what he's honestly looking at. He's probably just staring at the chart and thinking like, oh my god, it's the end. if you're going to be in these trenches, you have to understand why you're here, and you have to maintain your conviction, because this is the best technology, the best investment possible, because it's not just an investment, it is a currency. Data network currency. It is a current. It's not just a currency, but it's a data network that creates a currency, that creates a data ledger, that creates all these different sort of applications, because it's just the prime, the quintessential, it's the epitome of data movement, how data can move. Now that creates, by chance, a currency, and that's how Bitcoin is what it is, and that's why Kaspa is what it is. It's using existing infrastructure, like of the internet. You need to have internet connection, but even Kaspa can work without internet. It has, because it's so efficient and fast. You run the transactions, and then once you get internet connection, it all gets updated. It's all fun and games. Yo.